All right, so here we are getting started. 12-2. So again, those of you that were gone, you're going to have to kind of catch up on your own. We have videos on our classroom. If you haven't watched them when you were sick, you can watch them again sometime. Basically, what we're doing is, I'll zoom in a little bit, is we have these employees, and again, we do small little examples, but we have 4 employees here who we want to figure out some of their taxes. All right. We have 2 different tax sheets that we have, a married tax sheet and a single tax sheet. And I took screenshots of them. And so the married taxes are a little different, and then the single. And so you need to make sure you're on the correct ones. As you can see, the wages of people that are earning are over here. The allowances, the number of dependents, we went over this, so it's going to be new information for some of you, are up at the top. The more people you claim dependent on your taxes, the less tax is taken out. You can kind of see a line, right? So the more allowances, the less taxes. If you're married versus if you're single, single people will pay more taxes than married people. Okay. And so you have to make sure, just double check that you're on the correct chart, that you're on the correct allowances. And what we kind of talked about before was, if you don't want to pay a bill at the end of tax season, you take 0 allowances, means you're not even claiming yourself as a dependent, so that you can have the most taxes taken out possible, so that you never have to pay at the end, because you're not going to have any savings because you're broke and you're new. As you keep being more successful and have more money and can save better, and you don't have as many, whatever, you can claim a few more dependents. The idea again is, you could talk to your folks. Some people like to have a big refund. My dad's retired. He doesn't pay any taxes till the end because he has the money and he just wants to pay it all at once. He don't want to give it to him a second early. He'd rather have it in funds and doing stuff. I'm at the stage of my life where I was a 0 when I first got out of college, because I didn't want to have to pay a bill and save for taxes. Now you're at a stage where you can the idea would be to break even. All right. So like the last year I had to pay 146 bucks. So I was pretty happy. So I didn't have them owe me any money, and I didn't have to pay a huge bill. So it just kind of depends. It'd be interesting. You can ask your folks, what their thoughts are on those things. But what we're doing for federal income tax is we need to use those sheets. So this first person, employee John, is married with 2. So we need to go to the married sheet. Okay. And this is married. It says he made 1,360. So of course they're trying to be tricky the first time through. As you can see up here, again, a lot of you weren't here, so this is what I'm going reviewing quick. It says at least in this column, but less than. So that doesn't mean 1,200 or 1,360 here, because it needs to be less than. I've never understood why we don't just put 1,359. But they don't. So when they ask us for 1,360, you need to make sure you're at the at least part of it. Then he's married with 2, so we're on the married chart. We're at 2, and you meet over here at 1,360, and you can see that married 1,360 is 52 bucks. I want to make sure I'm saying this right, but I'm pretty sure that is correct. $52. Okay, now do you understand where we're getting at? 1,360 is the income that John was paid. He's married with 2 allowances, so it's this 52 here. Okay, so you just got to make sure you're on the correct chart, under the correct dollar amount of wages earned, and the correct allowance. So now, Social Security tax is 6.2%. Says up here, of your earnings. Now, again, Social Security tax for you guys that weren't here the other day is, there is a tax base of like 106,800. You will pay Social Security tax up to that tax base in our book. It changes from year to year. Last year, I think it was 87,500 or something. But our tax base that we learned in our book the other day, when you got, some of you were gone, was 106,000, like 800. It tells us here, none of the employees have accumulated earnings greater than the tax base. What that means is they got to pay. Okay, they haven't earned too much. So you would take 1,360 times 0.062. That's the Social Security tax. And I'm just going to tell you it so we can go quick. 84.32. Medicare then, in your instructions, says the Medicare tax is 1.45%. Medicare does not have a tax base according to what we're doing with our book. So we're not paying, we're going to pay this for all earnings no matter what. Social Security, we don't pay after 106,800. Medicare, we will. Medicare is 1.45% or 0.0145 in your calculator. You multiply total earnings, 1,360 times 1.45, and you get 1972. And that is our taxes. Can't do it. Okay. So next person, next employee, Janice, single with one. So we gotta get the single chart. She made $980. So you go down again, not the first one, less than 980, at least 980. We're on the single chart, 980 with one allowance. That is $79. See where that is? 980 to one allowance intersects at 79. We multiply 980 times 0.62% or 6.2%, excuse me, and you get 60.76. You take 980 times 1.45% and you get 1421. So Janice makes less money than John, but she has to pay more taxes because she's single with one allowance. He's married with two. Right? So it's not kind of a ripoff. All right. Terry, employee number 3, has a marital status and 3 allowances. So we got to get to married. It's 1,510. So finally we got one that's just in the middle. You go to at least 1,510 comes between 500 and 520. We're on the married chart. 1,510 married with 3 exemptions or allowances is $50. See where it intersects at 50. Everybody okay with how we're doing these? Okay, you have to do these on your own. Okay. All right, then we take 1,510 times 6.2%, and you get 93.62. You take 1,510, their total earnings. This total earnings, again, remember, is gross earnings, the amount of money they make before taxes. That's why we're taking it. 1,510 times 1.45%, and you get 2190. Total earnings times the tax rate to get the Social Security and Medicare. Total earnings, and then the certain chart, either married or single, and allowances for that one. The last employee is single, 1,125. So you go to the single chart, you find 1,125. It's in between 1,120 and 1,140. Single with 2 allowances is $77. Okay. So you do $77. Multiply 1,125 times 6.2%. You get 69.75. Multiply 1,125 times the 1.45%. and you get 1631. Okay? Do you have questions on how we got these federal income tax withholdings? You're finding them off the chart, either single or married. Find their area, make sure you're not less than, make sure you're in the correct one, and then the allowance. And then we just take total earnings times these tax rates, either 6.2% or 1.45. All right? We'll give you a few minutes. You can go ahead. The app is going to give you maybe 5 or 6 employees that you can work on. Get used to using those charts. Make sure you're just on the correct one. Would be the main thing. And it's 9:36, maybe in like 10 minutes or so. 9:46, 47. Give you 10, 11 minutes, and then we'll continue on.